Hey, this is another Meepology moment. I'm Bogue here with Randy O'Connor, with self-publisher, right? By the hence name, Randy O'Connor Games.
Yep.
Love it. And we're here to talk about a Roll-in-One, a great golf game that I actually had the pleasure of seeing. And I know we had some stuff we did together. Shout out to Bitboard Con that was this past week. And really, when I saw the game, as always, I try to find innovative new designers, indie designers that are out there trying to make it happen and really putting a great foot forward on not only bringing out cool games, but also games that I think have a great way to introduce games to new players, right? And that's our background. Meepology is finding that perfect game that works. So, Randy, if you would just get a little bit about yourself, what's where you're at with the game, and we can jump into the main question.
Sure. Thanks for having me. A little bit about me. I'm actually a full-time professional game designer. I do a lot of work in video games. I'm working in educational games right now to teach programming concepts to kids and game design and stuff like that. And yeah, like to speak to Roll-in-One, I feel like it's been informed a lot because I've actually taught game design, and you just in the process of teaching games, right? You learn all the things that you take for granted.
Right.
So
Yep.
the Roll-in-One was actually inspired by another friend was working on a golfing mechanic, and it was a very different. It was a physical based mechanic, like flicking. And I just had this moment. I was like, has anyone really done golf games? And you look out there, and there are a number of them kind of through the last several decades, but a
Yep.
lot of them are very simulation heavy.
Gotcha.
A lot of them are really like golfers really trying to emulate the experience of being out on the course.
Right.
And it feels like a lot of them have their roots in like war games and hex. Mine actually has hex tiles as well.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, the idea behind it is really imagine each die. You have six dice, the hex dice, the dice you'd have if you're playing D&D, a
Love it.
four-sided 6, 8, 10,
Yes.
12, 20. Imagine each one is like a golf club.
Yep. I love that. And I tell you, that's what really first, big love dice rolling, right? And I saw then how easily it made sense, the driver, the 20 side down to the putter with the four, right? And designing the game around that. So yeah, we talk a little bit about game design and so forth. We look at things in Meepology in regards to things that we know can help bring people to the table. And that's kind of what the whole tool and everything we do. And obviously the first and obvious one is the theme, right? When you just talked about it, it's golf. So if you got golfing buddies, right? Maybe getting a little older, maybe one, can't swing the club just right, injured or just past it. If you're saying, look, I'm a geeky gamer too, I love it. How do I bring these guys in? This is a great opportunity, right? But also just general gamers that are out there that like the idea of golf, that play like even Golden Tee, if you will. You talk about video games, right? Different things to say, how do I get a person from a video game Golden Tee into the board gaming world? This also has a thing. The cool thing about it, and as we're showing pictures here of the game and stuff as well, is that to me that the tile placement piece of it is very creative, but it's very functional into teaching gamers, new gamers, right, how tile placement works and how things can be laid out in an environment easily enough for them to understand right away, right? We're building a hole, just like you see on your cards and everything. I love that. And then, of course, we mentioned the die, not being intimidated by dice. So one thing that everybody talks about, the intimidation of, like you mentioned, D&D dice, when you see all those dice and all those numbers, right? But how you
Yeah.
set it up was kind of creative, going, look, okay, I can understand a driver and the big one and the putter, the small one. And those things, psychologically, are just as you're sitting somebody down to roll and start playing a game, does become more familiar with folks. And I just thought that when I saw it, that made a lot of sense. I mean, was some of that involved in it at all, or what's your thought on it?
Definitely. So the previous game I was designing was a pirate kind of simulator called Scoundrels, and I put it out there, and the experience that I had with it was it had a lot of randomness, which is a lot of fun. Like it was a little bit poker-ish, you know, it
Mhm.
had a little bit of that going on. But it took 90 minutes, right?
Oh,
And you get
gotcha.
to the end, and people would say something that is, you know, has randomness needs to be shorter.
Gotcha.
And I, you know, I don't think that's a hard and fast, I don't think that's a rule you have to follow, but
Right.
I think it's worth thinking about, you know, these different experiences that we want to have. And like, if you just want to get people to the table, it starts to make you think about, okay, the people that get really into it, slowly you want to remove the randomness. And there's this kind of, you know, spectrum of,
Yes.
right, perfectly random, you know, you're literally just throwing a die, versus perfectly skilled, where everyone knows everything, like chess, right?
Sure. Yes.
And
Yeah.
so taking advantage of that and saying, like, you know what, the skill here is like, which die do I think is going to work right now? And now you get the fun of just rolling it for a
Right.
little while.
Which is the strategy of it too, right? Because it does dive into that little piece of it as well as when you talk about randomness. But I think when you mention that, it's very true that what you're articulating is those personality traits, right? Of some people that have no problem with just pure randomness from the entire night, right? Just going
Mm-hmm.
along, whether they're playing one game or 100 games, and then the person that's more of a min max or somebody that goes, well, wait, if it's just all that, and I got to take this long, and it still ends up where I could lose because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any strategy in it. I mean, that's the different type of people that are playing games, and you have to cater to that as well. Whether one game can cater to all of them, or you know what I mean, or a single. And so I think that's where this can help out in regards to understanding the person and coming and saying, look, this is, I know you like golf, or I know you like this, or what have you. Let's take a look at it. And I think it's a good way to bring
Yeah.
folks in. Great. So just I guess just quickly tell us how you get the game, where they can go, what's the status of it, and I'll go from there.
Sure. If you want to find out more about the game, you can go to rollin.one. That's ROLLIN.ONE. And that'll take you to wherever is the current place with the most prevalent information. Right now, that's the Kickstarter campaign page, which has a form where you can sign up. Give me
Great.
your email if you might be interested in checking out the game when it gets released.
Perfect.
And the current stage is that it is being shipped to a warehouse right now. It's completely done manufacturing, and yeah, we have a bunch of copies that I would love for people to check out.
Very cool, man. You made it a thing, right? From nothing to a
Yeah,
thing. It's a beautiful thing for
yeah,
across the
yeah.
100 years, right? Well, great, Randy. I really appreciate your time coming on and sharing this a little bit with us. And definitely check that out, folks. All the information is below, and we'll see you back here again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.